All right, if you are moving to Houston, Texas, and you are not familiar with this area, you have a big fat problem on your hands. And that is, where the hell do you live? Well, in the next few minutes, I'm gonna be breaking down the best places for you to find the perfect spot to call home with confidence. And we're gonna go ahead and get started right now. Look, Houston is just mind-blowingly huge. It is massive, it is enormous, and picking the right area can absolutely feel very overwhelming. I get it, but don't worry. We're gonna be doing what's called a Google Maps tour. I'm gonna be breaking everything down so you can find the best places to live stress-free. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight into my computer, and we are gonna talk about the burbs here, all right? We're not talking about the inner city, we're gonna be talking about the burbs. So if you're looking for inner city stuff, that'll be another video for another day, or I might have already filmed it and launched it. This is all for the suburbs. Because most people that relocate here to the Houston region don't actually move into the inner city, they're moving to the burbs. So that's the reason why we're gonna be doing this video right here for all about the burbs. So let's dive into my computer real quick and I'll show you guys around. All right, so first up, we got downtown Houston. Now, before we break down the burbs, let me show you the infrastructure here, basically the major freeways that you're gonna be using on a day-to-day basis, depending on where you're located. And let's go ahead and start with the innermost loop. This is 610. 610 was the first loop that was ever built. That is the innermost loop around downtown Houston. Now, you have plenty of beautiful, luxury, multi-million-dollar properties on the west side of downtown in this general area, which we do cover quite extensively on this channel. But that is the innermost loop, 610. Now, the next loop you're gonna have is called Beltway 8, AKA Sam Houston Parkway, which is this most inner loop here. Now, if you're living in the suburbs, you're probably gonna end up using the Beltway all the time. So that's one major road that you definitely need to know about is the Beltway. Now the third or the outermost loop is going to be our newest addition to the team right here, which is Highway 99. Now this sucker is enormous. It'll take you hours to drive. Don't try it. It's stupid, costs you a lot of money, but this thing is huge. Now eventually what's gonna happen is, I'm not exactly sure the exact route, but it's gonna come down in here and land itself in the Alvin area. From there, I'm not sure how or if they're ever gonna connect it across 45 or not. Probably not, but this sucker right here on the south side has been proposed for what feels like forever, by the way. Will they ever finish it? God only knows. Next up, we're gonna have I-45. So I-45 is gonna come straight through the Woodlands, Spring, and it's gonna come all the way straight through downtown and end up kind of taking this southeastern direction. That's gonna lead you down towards the Galveston area. Next up, we have I-10. So I-10 coming from west all the way to east. Now this will go through the Katy area, which is over here. And then if you keep going on the west side, this general direction will take you to New Braunfels or San Antonio, which, by the way, if you're not familiar with Texas, New Braunfels is an absolute awesome area to vacation and go tubing down the river. Really awesome. We do that every freaking year. And on the other side of things, keep going east, that'll take you towards Beaumont, Lake Charles, Louisiana, all of that fun stuff. So now we have 59. So we're gonna talk about 59. Now this is gonna come through New Caney, Humboldt, and it'll come down just kind of like so, passing through downtown. Minute Maid Park, which is now Dyken Park. And it'll take you straight into Sugar Land, Richmond, Rosenberg area. So that is US 59 or 69, whichever you wanna call it. I always call it 59. And then we have 290, which is another one you'll be using if you're living on the northwest side. And then 249 taking you through Magnolia, Tomball, and straight up into the Beltway. And then we got 90, which will take you into Crosby area. Crosby is a really cool area for like mudding, going to a mud park if that's your thing. You have four-wheelers, you like doing outdoor stuff, that's a pretty cool little spot. And then 288. So if you live in the Pearland area, you might end up Pearland, Manville, Rocheron, Iowa Colony. If you work in the Med Center, which is just like generally over here, this is gonna be your road that you will be traveling to get to the Med Center from that area. And we also have US 35, not US 35, we have 35, which turns into Telephone Road right up in here. But 35 is one of the main roads that leads you down into Pearland and Alvin. So you can kind of tell, it looks like this cool little crosshair, just like a bunch of spider webs and a star coming in, and then just like a crosshair, like, you know, I don't know, for a firearm or something. Looks pretty cool though. But those are the major freeways that you absolutely need to know about, that depending on where you live within the city of Houston or the greater Houston area, you're gonna be using these quite a bit. So get to know your roads and don't be lost in the sauce. All right, now let's break down the most popular suburbs in the area. Starting off on the north side, then we'll work our way towards the south. But the first one that I want you to know about is the infamous, the Woodlands. So the Woodlands is a beautiful area. Fun fact for you though, the Woodlands is not actually an incorporated city contrary to some popular beliefs that aren't really all familiar with the Woodlands area, it's actually a master plan community. And I know recently, or not recently, but there was some sort of like agreement with the city of Houston that they're not going to annex the Woodlands into their territory for like 50 years or something like that. I don't know. Anyways though, but the Woodlands is a beautiful area separated into like several different villages. Gorgeous property out there, luxury property galore everywhere, beautiful property, beautiful area nonetheless. It is really awesome to go to the Woodlands. So if you have money and you want to live on the north side of Houston, the Woodlands definitely needs to be on your list. And then just beneath that, we have Spring, Texas. Let me zoom in a little bit actually, so we can kind of come in through here. So we have Spring, which is another popular area. Now Spring is an incorporated city. However, here's where things kind of get frustrating, especially if you're trying to live in the Woodlands and you're looking for property. Spring, oh, if you look up on the map, I'm not gonna do it right now, but if you type in Spring on Google Maps, it's really only gonna pop up this little area, which is Old Town Spring. Now, not a lot of people want to live in Old Town Spring. We actually have Northeast Spring, which kind of comes up over here. Tons of new construction right here, by the way. A lot of new construction over there. However, Spring actually goes further than that. So Spring actually comes over here towards the Klein area for Klein, Texas. But so Spring will actually come down. If you look for property on any kind of searching apps or whatever, Spring is gonna be pretty much all of this on the app itself. But man, there's some really awesome communities in the Spring area. We have Glenlock Farms, which is one. Champions Forest, wherever that is. I know it's over here. Oh, there it is. They got Champions Forest, Oakwood Glen, Memorial Northwest is another one, Memorial Chase, Memorial Springs. And there's just tons, and Cypress Wood is over here, I'm pretty sure. Where's Cypress Wood? Yeah, there it is, Cypress Wood, right there. Cypress Wood is another very popular area. So just for your reference, if you want to live in the Spring Klein area, then make sure, if the school districts are a major concern for you, not all the school districts are created equal. You're gonna have Klein ISD or you're gonna have Spring ISD depending on where you live. But Klein ISD ranks higher than Spring ISD, so bear that in mind whenever you are house shopping. All right, since we are still on the north side, let's go over here to Magnolia. Magnolia, there's a lot of different areas over there that are in flood zones in Magnolia, but Magnolia, man, this sucker is far out there to get to downtown. Very far out there. However, tons of acreage properties, tons of new construction. That area is kind of exploding as well. Same thing with on the other side of Magnolia, we have New Caney right off of 59. So New Caney is also exploding with tons of different property as well. Porter area is also exploding with tons of different new construction. But man, this area is exploding. But let's be honest, what area hasn't exploded at this point with tons of new construction and new developments and just all kinds of stuff coming in? But while we are on the east side of things, there's a few areas that I want you specifically to know about. We have Humble, which is right here. We have Atascocita and then Kingwood. So Humble and Atascocita are both going to be, cities. Kingwood though, Kingwood is not a city. Kingwood is just like the Woodlands, but it's a master plan community. So Kingwood is a very nice area to live. And this is in fact one of the very few areas that you can buy waterfront property on a lake, because this right here is all of Lake Houston. Super cool area to do some boating, watercraft, all that fun stuff, fishing, things like that. So if you really want to live on waterfront property, Kingwood, even some Atascocita, like Kings River Estates, Kings Lake Estates, those are all very popular areas to live in. Then we have all the country clubs out here. So the Clubs of Kingwood is a very popular country club, golf course area. Super nice. But Kingwood is called the livable forest, by the way. And it's a different vibe, man. When you get out there in Kingwood, you don't feel like you're in a big city. You don't feel like you're really kind of in the burbs. You feel like, honestly, you are in a forest. That's why they call it the livable forest. There's tons and tons of hiking and biking trails all over the dang place. You will not fall short of any sort of something to do outside. So if you are an outdoor enthusiast, Kingwood definitely should be on your list. I've been out there like all the time basically because I have a lot of friends that live in Kingwood, and this is a really fun area to go to. So highly encourage you to check out Kingwood. It should definitely be on your list for consideration. And you'll find, you're not really gonna find new construction in Kingwood that much anymore because it's pretty much all built out, except for some minor spots in like, I think it's like Kings, is it Kings River or King? I don't know, it's one of those estates, it's a gated community with a manned guard at there all the time. You'll find some like empty lots where you can build a custom home on right there on the water. But other than that, you're really not gonna find a lot of new construction in Kingwood itself. You might have to go towards Humble, which is exploded with new construction all over the damn place. And then Atascocita as well as a little bit over there. But Kingwood is a pretty cool area. So let's head back over to the west side and we'll check out what's called, this is the most popular area, is Katy. So Katy, Texas is going to be on the west side of Houston. It's pretty far out there, but we have the energy corridor over here, which is really nice. So if you're in oil and gas, keep in mind though, the energy corridor, we call it the energy corridor, but that's, if you're not familiar with the area, this isn't filled with refinery plants or chemical plants. This is essentially just where a lot of big corporate headquarters are. But Katy is extremely popular. As a matter of fact, a lot of my relocation clients end up choosing Katy just for the different options that are out there. But Katy is just massive and it's a really nice area, and it comes down into the Fulshear area too. So we have a ton of stuff going on. So we have Highway 99, we have I-10, we have Highway 6. And if you want to know, so I get into depth, by the way, with all of these. So with Katy, all these suburbs that we're mentioning, we have what's called a living in playlist. So like living in Katy, living in the Woodlands, living in Kingwood, whatever, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So if you want a more in-depth review analysis, going into different neighborhoods, exploring different neighborhoods, make sure you check out those living in playlists. You can go to my playlist section on my YouTube. You can also go down and scroll on the homepage. I'll put them on there as well. So you can just choose your area that you want to explore in, and I cover all of these in great detail. But Katy is essentially broken down into 4 different quadrants. It separates North Katy. It'll separate Old Town Katy, which is over here. Mary Jo Beckham is a really big popular park, but man, there's tons and tons of new construction all over South Katy, even coming into the Fulshear area. Like Cross Creek Ranch, for example, is a huge community, super nice community. Then we have Cinco Ranch. Cinco Ranch kind of expands over here as well. We have Cinco Ranch across 99. Seven Meadows is another popular one. Yeah, so Greystone Lakes is another one as well, but this is a very popular community. We even have La Santera, which is a big mall, a big popular shopping center that people will go to. But Katy is a really nice area if you're looking for new construction. Definitely check out Katy, South Katy specifically. You're not really gonna find a ton of new construction on the north side of Katy or Old Town Katy. And by the way, if you typed in Katy, Texas on Google Maps, it's just like with Spring. It's crazy, like it's not gonna show you all of this, right? It's not gonna show you all of that as Katy. It's only gonna pop up this little bit right here, that little tiny bit right there. And it's gonna show you that a population is like 22,000, which couldn't be further from the truth. That's just Katy proper. Katy proper is that. Now, outside greater Katy area, it's much larger than that, and there's tons of different options to choose from. Let's keep going down south. We gotta talk about Richmond, Sugar Land area. So Sugar Land and Richmond. So these two areas are pretty cool. Oh, I circled that too far. But Sugar Land is actually a really highly sophisticated area. Sugar Land is awesome. Great suburban area. If you're gonna live on the southern part of Houston or outside of Houston, you can't go wrong with Sugar Land. And it's really in a prime location because you're right off of 59, come straight up into 610 to go to the north, going south, whatever. And you got Highway 6. I mean, look at all these freeways surrounding Sugar Land. I mean, it's insane. Same thing with Richmond. Richmond's a little bit further out, but you're gonna find a lot of new construction in Richmond too. They're everywhere over there in Richmond. A little bit in Sugar Land, not too much though, like it used to be. Again, everything's exploded, what hasn't, but you can still find some new construction. It's just not as prevalent or prominent as it used to be. And then we didn't talk about one area though. I wanna come back up here on the northwest side, and that is going to be this guy right here. Cypress, Texas, baby. So Cypress is another one that is just exploded. And if you're looking for new construction, oh my gosh, like you can't go wrong with the Cypress area. Cypress is just, I mean, I can't even explain how much this area has just exploded over the years. But Bridgeland is a very popular community, Cypress Creek, Bridgeland. Villages at Cypress Creek is another one, but those are all really good communities to live in. Bridgeland is probably, in my opinion, I think one of the most popular neighborhoods within Cypress itself. But Cypress, again, let me look how close you are to all of the major freeways. So you got 99 here, 290 there. It'll take you end up to 6, and 290 takes you all the way into Beltway or getting into downtown Houston. All right, so now let's work our way to the southern part of Houston, and this is where we're starting to get into some of my favorite areas as well. So first up, we're gonna have Pearland. So Pearland is a very extremely popular suburb area and has also exploded. A long time ago, it was just the Old Town Pearland, which is on this side, right? All of this was Old Town Pearland. Green Tea Terrace, I just covered it up, but Green Tea Terrace is a very popular community. Golf course community that's been there since like the 80s, I think. It's been there for a long time. But that was Old Town Pearland. Now, coming in on the west side over here, this is gonna be all the west side of Pearland, and more so this general area is Shadow Creek Ranch. And I want you to note too, if you are looking for Pearland ISD, this is gonna basically be your dividing line when it comes to school districts. This area over here to the west side of 288 is gonna be all Alvin ISD. You are not gonna be zoned to Pearland ISD. And which is odd because Shadow Creek Ranch is the largest master plan community in the city limits of Pearland. However, on the east side of 288 coming over here, even though I said it was west, but it's just what we call West Pearland, but whatever. I mean, you can call West Pearland over here, anything on the east or the west side of 288. But on this side, east of 288, you're actually gonna be zoned to Pearland ISD. If you're in this general area, more than likely you're gonna be zoned to less like Dawson Creek, or not Dawson Creek, you're gonna be Dawson High School. And then over here in the Old Town Pearland, you're gonna be actually zoned to Pearland High School. So we have Dawson High School and Pearland High School. Over here on Shadow Creek though, you're gonna be zoned to, it's called Shadow Creek Ranch High School. But Pearland is an awesome area. I mean, you can see it's sitting in a pretty prime location because we got 35 that comes straight through there, and then easy access to the Beltway or 288. Now, next up is actually one of my very favorite all-time communities or suburban areas. And quite frankly, I think this area is the most underrated suburb of all time, and it's the least talked about, which is mind-blowing to me, but it is considered one of the safest, if not the safest suburban community to live in all of the greater Houston area. I want you to think about that for a second and how freaking massive and just ungodly large this area is. Now, this community is called Friendswood. Now, Friendswood is an awesome, awesome neighborhood or community. And it's this tiny little town that is landlocked between essentially League City and Pearland and maybe a little bit portions of Alvin. But man, Friendswood is an awesome community, and they have so much going on over there. As far as like new construction though, not so much. Now you can definitely find some new developments. Like Avalon is a brand new development. Well, it's not brand new anymore, but Avalon is another development. Very expensive though. So that's the only downfall about Friendswood if you want to live in Friendswood, is because it's much more expensive than the neighboring suburbs like Pearland and League City, for example. But it is one of the safest communities in this area. I have a couple friends that are in law enforcement, and they tell me all the time how Friendswood is pretty much the safest neighborhood or safest community in all of the greater Houston area. Definitely check out Friendswood, and Friendswood actually has one of the top ranked school districts out of 51. I think they're ranked number 3 total out of 51 total school districts in the greater Houston area. So they don't play around when it comes to education. They don't play around when it comes to crime. And they also have Baybrook Mall over here too. So you can see Baybrook Mall right in here. There's a lot of stuff to do over here at Baybrook, but you got Dave & Buster's over there, Maggiano's, Fogo de Chao. Perry Steakhouse is an awesome steakhouse, especially for anniversaries, or if you have money like that, you can just go there all the time. Crab cakes, by the way, are super delicious at Perry Steakhouse. Then we got the Rapport, which is like a Cajun area or a Cajun food. It's the most upscale Cajun food I've ever had in my life. And then this area right here is like the Lawn. This is all turfed area. And I know there's several malls around the city of Houston that has that, but if you want to live on the southern part of Houston and you want to live in Friendswood, you can't go wrong. Now, another thing to note about Friendswood too is actually Friendswood and Pearland. Let's talk about that. And we'll talk about League City too, actually. Friendswood is actually going to be in 2 separate counties. We have Galveston County and Harris County. And Brazoria County is actually going to be in Pearland. League City is going to be Galveston County. The reason why I'm mentioning this to you is for something you to watch out for, because depending on where you live, but if you're gonna be living in Pearland and you're gonna be in Brazoria County, or if you're gonna be in Friendswood and you're gonna be in Galveston County or League City, Galveston County, Galveston County and Brazoria County, both are going to be considered what's called a coastal county in the eyes of an insurance carrier. So being down south, you're gonna have to carry what's called windstorm insurance. Actually, you're gonna have windstorm insurance regardless, but your premiums are gonna be a little bit higher compared to, let's say, Harris County or Fort Bend County or Montgomery County. Because you are so close to the coast or the coastline, they're saying you're a little bit more susceptible to wind damage from hurricanes and things like that. So your insurance premium is actually going to be a little bit higher. Now let's talk about League City. So League City is also a really nice area. Now we talked about that lake, right? So Lake of Houston up there on the northwest side. There is another lake and it's down here. It's called Clear Lake. Comes straight out into the bay out here towards the Galveston Bay area, but really cool. So anyway, so League City is a very popular area. Now we have 45 is gonna be dividing this area, right? And we're gonna have over here, we're gonna have East League City, which is gonna be Old Town League City, and then we're gonna have West League City. Now, East League City actually, most of the development is pretty much over with. Like you're not gonna find any new construction. You might, but the developments as far as like what's going on right now, not anything for you to consider, nothing's there. But if you want new construction, you're actually gonna have a bunch of these down here. Now, this is all going to be, let's see, League City Park, this is gonna be 96. And this is Magnolia Creek over here. And I think somewhere right in this general area is gonna be a new construction development. Massive. Called Legacy, by the way. And as of making this video, they haven't opened up their first model home, but when they do, we'll be sure to cover that for you guys. Legacy is supposed to be coming up in, let's say, the first quarter of 2025. So maybe in the next couple of months, or I think it's actually spring or summer. Anyways, Legacy is gonna be a new development out here. Huge development that's gonna be coming soon. I know they've already broke ground because I covered it in one of my videos so far, but their model home isn't open yet. But if you wanna live on the east side of 45 or East League City, tons of really good neighborhoods down this area. We have South Shore Harbor, which is a waterfront community. They actually have a marina, boom, right over there. So we have South Shore Harbor. Tuscan Lakes is gonna be off League City Parkway, somewhere over here. Marbella is right there. So you have a few different options to choose from on the east side of League City. Tuscan Lakes is an awesome community, by the way. I've covered that one as well. They have a gated section and they also have just, you know, your regular section. And on Tuscan Lakes too, by the way, if the school districts are another concern, there's gonna be an area down this general direction off of 646. So you see Tuscan Lakes Boulevard, there it is. So a lot of these communities, let's say, even though this might be Tuscan Lakes, right? It might be Tuscan Lakes, it might not. But anyways, right there, there's a portion of Tuscan Lakes, for example, what I'm trying to say is gonna be zoned to Dickinson ISD, not Clear Creek ISD. League City is zoned, or League City school districts are Clear Creek ISD. There's like 10 high schools in that district, by the way. Top rated district, I think it comes in at number 5 out of 51. But if you want to live, or if you want to live in a house that's zoned to Clear Creek ISD, pay attention if you're going to be in Tuscan Lakes, because there are slivers and small portions of neighborhoods that will be zoned to Dickinson, which is a little bit down here. All right, now next up I want to talk about is going to be this guy right here, Alvin, Texas. Okay. So Alvin, Texas is a small town, not a whole lot to do, doesn't have the best school districts in the area. But it's a small little town. However, a lot of people like Alvin because of how secluded it kind of feels. It's not really so far out there that it's, you know, a heck of a drive just to get into the city of Houston, but you know, it's close enough to where you could still have all the big city amenities, which is nice. And then, so if you want acreage, then this is gonna be your best bet. If you want acreage that's close to the city life as possible without being too far away out from going to get groceries from H-E-B or something, for example, or a Walmart, Alvin's gonna be it. You know, and it's not cheap. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you're gonna find acreage for cheap. So if you're looking for acreage, be prepared to spend some money. I remember when I first got into the industry, there was like a 50-acre lot that was for sale for like $300,000. You ain't gonna find that anymore, especially not over here. Maybe somewhere South Texas, but here in this area, you ain't finding 50 acres for 200, 300 grand. Not happening, unless that property is deemed worthless and has chemical spills all over it. Not happening. But you know, there was a really nice neighborhood, a really nice house that I saw not too long ago that was $800,000 sitting on 10 acres. Hey, $800,000, a brand new construction home sitting on 10 acres. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 3,000 square foot. Beautiful home. Beautiful acreage. You can find it, but just be prepared to spend a little bit more money for acreage. Now, they do have a lot of starter new construction communities out here too. So you can get some pretty nice homes from the mid 200s all the way up into the low 4s. But there's a lot of new construction down here in the mid 200s and low 300s. So, that's a starter home, right? And that's as best as you're gonna get. Especially anything below $300,000 in a new construction, that in today's market is impressive. And if you want it, you can find it here in Alvin, Texas. Now, as far as more, acreage is concerned, I mean, you can probably find some out here in the Crosby area. You'll find some really nice homes out in Crosby on some acreage. This is not a very talked about area, but it's still a pretty cool area if you want not new construction, but if you want acreage. Same thing, Magnolia, but I mean, just look at the difference. Look at how far this is. So we have Magnolia right here, and then we have Crosby right here. Crosby is going to be the closest, from 99 to the Beltway. But I mean, just look, Alvin's right there. I mean, it kind of seems like it's farther out, but it's really not. It's so close to Pearland, so close to Friendswood. Magnolia is kind of really far out there, but if you're looking for acreage, I think Alvin's really going to be your best bet. Let's talk about 3 different things here in Houston, Texas that you absolutely need to know about. And the first one I want you to tell you about is the Texas Medical Center. We live in Houston. Texas Medical Center is the medical capital of the freaking world. So the Texas Medical Center is going to be right here, kind of south of downtown, I would say. So we have the medical center area right here off of 288 and 90. This is going to be all of the Texas Medical Center, right next to Herman Park, the Museum District, all that stuff. Rice University is right there. But man, this area, the Texas Medical Center, is huge. So if you're living here in Houston, you have access to some of the best healthcare systems in the world, which is pretty awesome. And then the next thing I want to tell you about is the 2 major airports that are going to be here. So the first airport that I want to tell you is this one. This is going to be our international airport here in Houston. This is called Bush International or Intercontinental Airport. Big airport, by the way. So if you're going to be living up here anywhere on the north side, more than likely you're going to end up taking Bush quite a bit. But if you are living down here on the southern region, you're going to end up taking what's called Hobby. Now, Hobby Airport is right there inside the loop. You see where it's kind of grayed out. Not inside the loop, but right off of 35, in between 35 and 45. That's going to be Hobby Airport. So if you live in Pearland, you live in Friendswood, you live in League City or the Clear Lake area, let's say Iowa Colony, Manville, Sugarland maybe, Missouri City, you're going to end up, especially if it's a domestic flight, more than likely you're going to end up taking Hobby to get there, to get to where you need to go, or you're right there. Boom. But there are going to be occasions, obviously, where you can't take Hobby Airport because the Hobby Airport's only domesticated flights, and the main airline out of there, or the only airline pretty much out of there, is going to be Southwest Airlines. But obviously, there's going to be occasions where you're flying internationally or something like that. You can't take Hobby. You have to take Bush Intercontinental Airport, but they do have international flights, just very limited, like Cancun or the Bahamas, and I think they even fly to Hawaii from Hobby Airport. So Southwest flies to Hawaii, which is crazy to me, but whatever. You get the idea. You have 2 airports to choose from here, and obviously there's going to be dozens of different regional airports or even neighborhood airports, which is very interesting, by the way. But you get the idea. I mean, there's tons of different areas for you to choose from. And now, like I said earlier, we break each one of these communities down and we go in depth. Like, we're actually visiting some houses, showcasing what you can get. Then you can physically lay eyes on the properties or different neighborhoods, some of the best neighborhoods that are out there to choose from, each one of these different subdivisions that cover the entire Houston area. So make sure you go to those playlists and you start, driving around or taking a look at some of those different areas so that we can narrow down home which one you want to call home, basically. And if any one of these caught your attention or caught your eye, let me know in the comment section below. And you can also reach out to me if you want a virtual tour, or if you're coming down here, relocating to the Houston region, and you want to start getting set up and getting to the best deal, the best price, and the best locations, give us a call. I'll leave all my information in the description box down below. And I'll even put up a QR code for you to scan if you're watching this on your TV, which according to my analytics, about 60% of you do watch this on your TV. So go ahead and take out your phone right now, scan that QR code, and you can book a call. We're going to go to a Zoom call with myself or a member of my team. And we would be delighted, honored, and thrilled to help make your transition to Houston a smooth one. Well, I truly hope you found some value in this video. Let me know in your comments what you think about these different suburbs, which one caught your attention the most, which one you think you'd want to live in. And that's going to pretty much wrap it up for our video for today. I'll see you guys in the next one.